Hey, what's up, you guys? Paul here. So today I wanted to compare digital Yu-Gi-Oh! And physical Yu-Gi-Oh! And talk about some of the ups and downs of each, especially as it relates to convenience and accessibility. So what spurred all this on? Well, it's thoughts that I've kind of had for months or even years now, but recently I've been reminded of it more. First of all, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel is going to be coming out soon. As of the time of me recording this video, we don't have an exact date for it, but we know it's going to be within the next month, 2 months, something like that. That's what Konami's indicated to us. We also have Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, which already exists. And in addition to that, I saw a tweet from Farfa where he was talking about how he kind of feels like he's more of a digital Yu-Gi-Oh! Player at heart because he doesn't really like the hassle of collecting the physical cards, storing them, organizing and sorting them, having to dig through them to find cards that you need, having to sleeve up decks, having to drive to locals and deal with locals that could be good or bad. And I saw a lot of people agreeing with him in the comments, and so I want to, before I actually get into it, sort of preface this by saying I do not hate physical Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm not saying that it's dying. I'm not saying that you should quit or that it's bad. This isn't meant to be like whining and complaining, although it might seem that way. It's more of just me kind of putting my thoughts out there and comparing and contrasting two different things. So, yeah, here at Team APS Studios, we've got a lot of physical Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, loads of bulk commons, about 30 to 40,000 of them, just in rough approximate counting. And we store a lot of those bulk commons in just these large white, lined boxes. I think from BCW Supplies. You've probably seen them in the backgrounds of several videos. We've actually even made like a skit about them. We have like 6 of them now. Each box is supposed to hold like 5,000 to 6,000 cards each. There's a lot of bulk commons. They take up a lot of space. Those big boxes, they're heavy. It's just a real commitment. Whenever you want to find a card, you have to like pull out the boxes and start digging and searching and then put everything back in. Sorting them can be really complicated. We've recently started trying to do a bit more card sorting, but even that takes loads of time and it still takes a lot of space even once the cards are sorted. It's convenient once you do, you can at least find things more quickly, but still there's just a lot of hassle and tedium involved in keeping track of all these cards. That's not all though. We've also got plenty of binders, like about half a dozen binders just of different things. We've got an extract binder, a monsters binder, spells, traps, and that doesn't really even comprise the vast majority of the foil cards that we own, which we're trying to separate from the commons and all of that. Plus, there's like dozens of deck boxes, we've got loads of sleeves, we've got loads of playmats and mat tubes, and it can just be a bit of a mess to have this huge Yu-Gi-Oh! Collection. I was going through all the cards the other day, and I was just like, it's just a lot. Because not only do you have everything that you own, but then anytime that you open new packs or boxes, especially if you're like a YouTuber, I guess, and you open loads of stuff, then all those new bulk cards have to go into boxes and get sorted out. Now, that isn't to say that Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't fun to play physically. A lot of people have collections that they're very proud of. But here's the thing. I enjoy playing physical Yu-Gi-Oh! More than anything. Sitting across the table from my opponent with my deck in its sleeves and its deck box and my cards and like holding them in my hand and shuffling and playing and activating, nothing beats it. It's everything around it though. It's all of that sorting, all of that hassle, all of that finding cards and kind of shifting things around. I sometimes just want to be able to get into the game and play, but everything around it can be a bit much. I've actually met a lot of players, and actually even members of Team APS who have much more lean collections. Like, for instance, when I go to a tournament, I like to really only take like my one deck in its deck box and maybe a small trade binder, if that. And having that minimal setup with me is great. I feel it just feels more, just less mental clutter. And a lot of players literally only keep the cards that they need, like the current set of staples, current set of extra deck cards, and maybe the 1 or 2 decks they're building. They don't even have like a trade binder. They don't have big shoe boxes full of cards. It's kind of just the bare minimum. And sometimes I've like really contemplated doing that. Sometimes I want to just sort through all these cards, keep only the good stuff or the stuff that I'm building or playing, and just sell the rest of it. I've sold bulk commons before, and it actually felt really relieving to just get rid of so much of it. And then we get into the tournament part of sort of what Farfel was saying on Twitter. I saw a lot of people who were agreeing in the comments, and a point that somebody made that I really resonated with and hadn't considered until recently is one thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournaments is, as fun as they are, the amount of actual Yu-Gi-Oh! That you get to play relative to the hassle of, maybe driving out. I know a lot of you guys have said in the comments that you don't have a local card shop that's like within 5 or 10 or 15 minutes. Some people have to drive like an hour to go to locals or even more. And of course, if you're going to a regional or YCS, maybe you expect to travel a lot further. But still, when you get there, the amount of Yu-Gi-Oh! That you get to play sometimes doesn't feel worth it. Like, you finish your round and you have to wait, 10, 20, 30 minutes before the next round starts. And it just that adds up, right? Sometimes you want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And then like just play more Yu-Gi-Oh! So I say all of that to contrast it then to the digital Yu-Gi-Oh! That's available. So obviously there's stuff like EDO Pro and Dueling Book and other ways that you can play, like these fan simulators, as well as a couple of, official means. Duel Links exists now, and like I said, Master Duel is going to be coming out pretty soon. So with these like duel simulators, you can build your deck quickly. You can store all your decks, or just a list. You can select what you want to play. You don't have to like kind of pick up and dig for cards and find it. You can just quickly make a deck list, quickly hop into a game, and play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because at the end of the day, that's what a lot of us want to do, is we want to just play Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not to say that the other parts aren't fun, but ultimately I feel like what most of us are in Yu-Gi-Oh! For is Yu-Gi-Oh!, right? And so when you're done playing like a game in Duel Links, you can just hop into another one. And you're done with that, you can just hop into another one. Like mere seconds at times between like finding a match on Dueling Book or EDO Pro or whatever. Like you play, you win, great, next match. You lose, great, next match. Like with physical Yu-Gi-Oh! Though, when you lose your round, you gotta kind of like pick everything up and then just sort of wait for the next round. If you end up spending like 6 or 7 hours at your local card shop, but you technically only spent maybe half that time actually dueling, is that time well spent? Most people might say yes, but I do think that there's at least an argument that maybe digital Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the more ideal scenario here. Quickly being able to build decks, quickly being able to find and like sort through the decks and just be like, okay, this is my active deck for the next game that I want to play. Being able to quickly hop into a game, quickly hop out of a game, just automating a lot of the in-game processes, like how some of the automated sims do. Some people prefer that, some prefer the manual play of Dueling Book, but either way, they both offer the benefit of just quickly getting in and out of games. So that's just a huge thought that I feel digital Yu-Gi-Oh! Might really be the answer to. It's like, I guess if you're calling it a problem, then digital Yu-Gi-Oh! Might be the answer. I've already talked about at length how I feel one of Master Duel's biggest strengths is going to be the fact that you can play it on any platform. Your phone, your tablet, your game console, your PC. No matter where you're sitting, no matter what you're doing, I can play, Master Duel sitting in bed. I can play it on my couch. I can play it at my desk. I can play it at home or at work, or even probably at school. Maybe you shouldn't do that. But the idea that Yu-Gi-Oh! Will be quick and accessible, and assuming that you have one account that just syncs between all the devices you're playing, you can literally go from doing one to the next. And I think that that's just a huge benefit. Plus, it sounds to me like they're going to be supporting Master Duels in a very official capacity, where they're going to be flying players out to worlds and stuff, qualifying ones. So maybe even playing competitively on Master Duels, like climbing the ladder, doing whatever tournament structure that they've got going for this game, will be as worthwhile, if not more, than playing the physical Yu-Gi-Oh! Equivalent. Because the physical Yu-Gi-Oh! Equivalent is pay for a flight, pay for a hotel, or drive out and whatever to go to this YCS and go to these regionals. Now, I don't want to discount certain benefits of physical Yu-Gi-Oh! There are a lot. Like I've said plenty of times in the past, I love playing the game. I love the cards in my hands. I love sleeves. I love shuffling. I like being at the table, sitting across from my opponent and playing. It's just everything else that I don't like. But like meeting other players, that's a huge benefit. If you play digitally, that's not going to be something that you're able to really do. I mean, you can certainly make friends online, but we all know that the internet's not like a real friendship in many cases, or at least certainly not as rich and textured as the friend that you know at your local card shop or your local dueling group or whatever. And so that's something that like Master Duel or Duel Links can't necessarily replicate for you. In addition to that, just going outside, it also helps. You know, you don't just like be inside all the time. But I do think that there's an argument to be made that like digital Yu-Gi-Oh just might be the optimal way to play. And I think for some players, it's going to be exactly that. They're going to just kind of convert over to digital Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, there's plenty of people who do that as it is. I've talked to people who are just like, yeah, I don't want to spend all the money on the cards and deal with all this stuff. I can just play online. Now, yeah, there's money to be spent in Master Duels and Duel Links, grinding, gems, and all that. But, there's still a lot of other benefits that come with it too. So yeah, that's it for the video. This one went a bit longer than I expected, so I'll cut it off here. One quick announcement, by the way, we do have a new channel, APS Duel Terminal, in case you guys haven't heard about it. It's the channel where we're currently streaming a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links, and we're going to be streaming and playing other Yu-Gi-Oh! Video games like Master Duel and the new Rush Duel game and Cross Duel as they come out. We'll even dabble in some old Yu-Gi-Oh! Games as well. Right now, the streaming schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Time, but that will be expanding as more games come out and more APS members are streaming. So go check the channel out. I'll link it in the description. Go subscribe, enable the bells, join the chats. We do duel rooms. It's a fun time. Okay, that's actually it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Pass turn.